I have briefly tried to share the details and the emotions of those journeys. Putting them into words is not easy. To conclude, I believe I have survived in order to tell my story and to encourage those who hear it to do everything possible to make the world a place in which nothing of the likes which happened to me could ever happen again. Thank you for listening.
That was the last time when I saw my mother. They cut our hair. When we came out from the shower, nothing was there anymore, only our shoes. The pendant was in my shoe.
A mob had run down this street, bursting into Sikh houses, spraying them with blazing petrol, and often cutting the long hair from the heads of their Sikh victims. Gruesome evidence in the rubble of their houses.
हमारा मकान तोड़ दिया गया। मेरी माँ थी, उसके अंदर टायर था, गरम गरम जला के उसकी मतलब गले में डाल दिया।
बस वो पुलिस वाले सानू घर के अंदर वाड़ दे गए ने और उसके बाद एक घर के अंदर घट्टो घट 200 बंदा आंदा गया और जो सामने आया उन्होंने ये नहीं देखा कि ये 5 साल का है या 50 साल का है, कुछ नहीं देखा। उन्होंने सर से डंडे मारे तो पेट्रोल पाया, आग लगा दी।
ਸਾਡੇ ਭਰਾ ਹੈਗੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਗਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੈਰ ਪਾ ਦਿੱਤੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਭਰਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਰੀਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੇਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਘਬੋ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬੁਰਾ ਹਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ। ਉਹ ਸੀਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸੀਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਵੇਖੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ।
पुलिस वालों ने मेरे को मार मार के मेरे अब आपको दिखा नहीं सकता, मेरा साले 10 जगह से फटा हुआ है। तंगी करता हूँ, अब तक खून निकलता है।
He who saves a single life saves the world entire. He leans towards Isaac's stern before him and whispers, I could have done more. On this Holocaust Memorial Day, may that never be said of us. On our personal journey, may I remind you, there is no way. You make the way as you go. I invite you now to share with me the prayer you have in the programme, my fellow members of the Faith Leaders Group, with me, and I hope with you, we'll share together. Shall we stand then as we share this prayer together? Together.
In memory of 6 million martyrs who perished between 1939 and 45, with a broken and contrite heart, we come before you to mourn and weep with deep lamentation as we recall the martyrs of the 1939-45 devastation. Our bones cleave to our skin and to our flesh as our souls melted away from sorrow and sighing. The pleasant and the beloved, the upright and the perfect ones were loaded onto wagons like sheep and cattle. The heat was suffocating and the doors were sealed. Distinguished scholars sat on the ground in stunned silence. What, oh what was their guilt, they asked, and why the decree issued without mercy. We remember well the cry of the humble, the cry of the orphans and forsaken, the derision of the scholars and their beloved disciples. Heads of families, mighty men of valor, millions fell slain and wounded. It was a disgrace and a horror for the nations. Those whom we dandled and reared, the tyrant utterly consumed, like wolves tearing the prey, ravening to shed their blood. 6 million massacred. Who could imagine? They went down alive into the netherworld singing the holy prayers. Their souls departed whilst they were wrapped up in the prayer shawls and phylacteries. Let the murderers be put to shame and confusion and be as naught. To Auschwitz, Buchenwald, Bergen-Belsen, Dachau, Majdanek and Treblinka were they taken in disgrace, thrust into the gas chambers and burnt in the furnaces. Yet, in the Warsaw ghetto, the holy martyrs fought and fell like warriors. Scrolls of the law they cut into shreds and defiled them with their hands. They flayed the flesh of her kinsfolk and used her skin for their own adornment. Our eyes shed tears of blood over the burning synagogues, for the destruction of the rabbinical colleges and academies. They destroyed our assemblies and demolished our congregations. Fear came upon us, and trembling seized us, and in want and hunger they gnawed the dry ground. Our kinsfolk and dearly loved friends, pious and upright, holy and pure, who shine as a firmament, may they receive shelter forevermore under the cover of your holy wings. O merciful one, remember in your great mercy their souls.
In your programme is the statement of commitment, and on page 9, can we all read it together? We recognise that the Holocaust shook the foundations of modern civilisation. Its unprecedented character and horror will always hold universal meaning. We believe the Holocaust must have a permanent place in our nation's collective memory. We honour the survivors still with us and reaffirm our shared goals of mutual understanding and justice. We must make sure that future generations understand the cause of the Holocaust and reflect upon its consequences. We vow to remember the victims of Nazi persecution and of all genocide. We value the sacrifice, protect and rescue victims as a touchstone of the human capacity for good in the face of evil. We recognise that humanity is still scarred by the belief that race or religion or disability or sexuality make some people's lives worth less than others. Genocide, anti-Semitism, racism, xenophobia and discrimination still continue. We have a shared responsibility to fight these evils. We pledge to strengthen our efforts to promote education and research about the Holocaust and other genocides. We will do our utmost to make sure that the lessons of such events are fully learned. We will continue to encourage Holocaust remembrance by holding an annual UK Holocaust Memorial Day. We condemn the evils of prejudice, discrimination and racism. We value a free, tolerant and democratic society. That brings us towards the end of our remembrance. Can I take this opportunity to thank you for attending the 2014 Holocaust Memorial's ceremony today. I hope that it's given you a chance to reflect on your own journey as well as the forced journeys made by millions of people during the Holocaust and subsequent genocides. Can I ask those of you who haven't taken the opportunity to light a candle before you go today to come down to the front of the stage and light your candle of remembrance. The Town Hall has also asked me to tell you that the coffee bar is open for those of you who wish to purchase refreshments before you make your journey home. Can I thank you once again for coming this afternoon. Thank you very much.